Ripley Management District Board of Directors meeting to order. It's February 21st, 2026. It's 9 o'clock. Call to order and roll call. All members are present. Public comment today. Is there any public comment today?
I'll say some comment, please, if that's okay.
Yeah, please state your name when you come up, and we'll give you a few minutes. Name and where you live, Dean.
Oh, hello, my name is Dean Lund. I'm advocating for pedestrian walk paths in our Lake District management area, specifically the proposal by the Preserve development across the street. Looking at your smart growth plan, there's many mention of pedestrian walkways that we're supposed to advocate in the town of Oakland. So I would like you to please take that into consideration, the smart growth plan and the advocating for walk pathing in the different developments and areas, please. That's all I had to say.
Okay, thanks for your comments, Dean.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other public comment today? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to approval of the minutes of the January 17th, 2026 board meeting. You don't have a copy of the minutes. Take a few moments to review, and then I'll entertain a motion.
I have a couple of
Okay, what do you got?
comments. Well, just one, actually. So for the Town of Oakland rep update,
Yep.
so we submitted the plan in February, so it's not that we'll know whether we get the grants. We submitted one of the grants in February, the federal grant. We will submit the DNR grant in the summer, and we should know by the fall whether we got those two grants or not.
Gotcha, we can make those updates, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's just an addition, right?
Well,
It's
no,
not a correction, it's more.
Well, it
it
said
says they'll
it's
know in
correct.
February.
Well,
They
should know in
won't know
February.
in February.
No, we won't know in February.
Yeah, gotcha,
Okay,
no problem.
all right. Anything else anybody sees?
I'd make a motion to approve with the correction.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve the minutes with the one correction. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, or a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right. Let's move on to treasurer's report. Steve Bischke.
Yeah, we could start. There's three. You guys have three documents. Let's start with the one that's labeled treasurer's report. Receipts for the period were $58,151.80. Broken out underneath it is by those entities that gave us the money. Disbursements totaled $18,089.45, and the last bullet shows the amounts in the checking account, the amounts that are restricted, that are designated for specific funds, and then the remaining amount, and then the general funds that are available. Any questions on that?
Okay.
The next sheet is the finance report. It just shows where the money went, equaling that 18,000 some, well, totally, it's close to that. They don't always match. That's where the monies went. For January?
Is the 5341 the hygiene water, is that the water sampling?
That's for Enbridge.
Oh, that was Enbridge.
Yep,
Okay.
and that was fully reimbursed.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there
Any
anything
other
else?
questions?
No?
No.
Anybody have any questions for Steve on the report for January? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve that report.
I'll make that approval.
All right, George has made a motion to approve the January's report. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Kim seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Okay, thank you.
The last thing I was asked to do was take a look at some of the funds we have in the checking account and figure out if there's something else we can do with those funds. how we might be able to make money on our money. And I did that. The top of the last sheet, you can see I went to both Badger Bank.
We do have that on the agenda further down, if you
Oh,
want, if you
okay.
want to do that then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So we'll talk about that. We have a separate agenda item for that one, so we'll have Steve discuss that when we get there. Okay, anything else for Steve? All right, thanks, Steve. And I guess we'll move on to Town of Oakland representative, Laura.
Good morning. We've been busy at the town, but really not much that would impact the Lake District at this time. Enbridge doesn't have any more samplings for another month or so, and they haven't submitted their soil vapor extraction, which we didn't expect this month anyway. But I'll keep you posted as that goes on. I am sure that Leanna will have more to discuss regarding the wake boat bills that have gone through the Assembly and the Senate, but I do just want to say that AB 1033 came up very quickly, and it was announced, and the next day was the public hearing, and Leanna did a great job reaching out to all of her various groups that pertain to lakes and wake boating, and she contacted me with all the information in her email. I also spoke to Meg. She's very familiar and very knowledgeable on the subject too. So I spoke with our state senator, Melissa Radcliffe, as well as our state representative, Joan Fitzgerald. I drafted a letter to them, the committee, and it was dispersed to others. Jimmy reviewed and we both signed it, stating that we were opposed to this. I gave some information on our lake itself and how we have a lake district that has been very proactive in restoring and protecting our lake, and this could be very detrimental to us, that we have the ordinance already and that it was overwhelmingly supported by the community. Our Senator Radcliffe and Representative Fitzgerald really supported us with this, and they're great listeners, and we do have some good support there, as well as from the county with Meg. So that's all I really have to say,
Okay. Thank
unless
you.
there's any questions for me.
Any questions for Laura? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Laura. Let's move on to Jefferson County Representative Meg.
Yeah, just to add to the wake boat thing, I'm on the Legislative and Administrative Committee for the Land and Water Conservation Association, which represents conservation workers in the state. And I'm also on the Ag, Environment, and Land Use Committee for the Wisconsin Counties Association. I talked to both of our representatives about this. The Land and Water did register in opposition to 1033. A new bill came up, and I think it's 1028. I don't have the number on the top of 1024, thank you.
Yep.
That we did register approval for. I did share that with Leanna. And just that one has greater links, and it has depth included, which were two of the big issues. What I heard from both WCA representative and Land and Water is they really had doubts that anything was going to get passed up to the governor without it having some kind of bipartisan support, that even if they pass it, he's going to reject it based on it not being bipartisan. The Assembly adjourned, I know. Senate only has like a few more days left to be able to do anything. So I'm not exactly sure where 1024 ended up. The only other thing that I've got for the county is going to have to wait until March. I'm really not in a position to be able to talk about it that has any relevance to this committee, and not to be a tease about it. I was thinking I was going to say something, and then I realized it's a little bit premature. So sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I think to note, the other thing in the original bill is it takes local control away from the
Yeah.
communities. And that's a huge issue for, I would think, every community. But that was also proposed in the original bill, so people need to be aware of that. So thank you. Any other questions for Meg? Okay, seeing none, thank you. And we'll move to Lake Manager's report, Leanna.
Alrighty, it has been a busy month and a super busy week. So this month I updated all of the job descriptions for 2026 and really made sure they were strong in their responsibilities. We'll be discussing those in a bit here. And I wanted to update those because unfortunately Dwight is not going to be returning as our water quality technician. He really loves the position, but his son is getting a little older and he wants to spend his summers with his son and not working full time. So we did have a good conversation yesterday, just asking if he would stay on in any capacity as kind of like a water quality data analyst. And he's still unsure. He wants to be able to be flexible during his summers. So understandable, we'll miss him. He did a lot of great work here. So big thanks to Dwight. He will be helping with the transition for whoever comes into this role. So that's really helpful. And I know he's always there for a phone call. He made that pretty clear. So we also are losing a weed harvester. Unfortunately, Jim Germain won't be returning on the crew. He sold his house and he's moving. So unfortunately, we're losing him, but we will post that position and get a third harvester. You have a question?
I was just going to ask, when you post that, have you ever posted it to the water group, UW Water list?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to double check.
Yeah, but I'll confirm with you on Monday. I'll make sure that that's on the
I was
list.
just thinking for Dwight's position, that would be one of those types of places that you might find somebody willing to do the part-time stuff.
We may
Nice,
have a
thank you.
volunteer, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Want to be a weed harvester, Johnny?
She was
You'd be
talking
a
for
great-
Dwight's
you-
position.
Oh, you're talking about vice position?
Yeah.
Not
No,
anymore.
not for the weed harvester.
Yeah. We got a different dump truck that doesn't require a CDL.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me reach out to you on Meg Monday.
Yeah.
On Monday, Meg.
I knew it.
Meg.
It's Meg Monday.
So thank you for that. The cost share project is still in the 30 days. It hasn't been 30 days since we met last, so the comment period for him is over on Monday. And I don't think there's been any public comment so far, so that project should be approved by the DNR, and it'll get done as soon as the lake is unfrozen, and which hopefully isn't that soon, and they'll get that knocked out. Our grants. I've done a lot of grant work this month. I finished the Shoreland and Shallows report. And I'm working on our aquatic plant management plan still. Arthur is working with me to get that updated. I also needed some input from the DNR fisheries biologist. Since we do have those critical habitat designation areas, we want to make sure that our weed harvesting permit aligns with our fish goals and our lake management plan. So avoiding those areas, especially during spawning time, and just being a little more conscious about them is important, and that's what we're incorporating into this APM. Our Cambridge Community Foundation grant has not come back yet. That's due at the end of March. I did reach out to see what that timeline was, so we got about another month to know if we've received that $15,000 grant. And this year in 2026, we received $53,375.25 in DNR grants.
That's awesome.
So yay!
That's awesome.
Right.
Great job
My
on that.
banded killifish grant got accepted, which I'm super pumped about. That was $42,375. Our Lake Ripley Watershed Restoration Project grant got accepted, and that's the stream bank restoration project that's going on, which if y'all remember, I've already gotten fully covered. So this money from the DNR, I'm going to use for that project, and I'm going to ask our Silver Linings Foundation donor if we could take, about $7,500 and put it into our inlet stream restoration project, since that grant did not get funded. And that grant was for about $10,000. So then I'd have about $2,500 to find in monies for our 2026 Stantec budget. So I think I can finagle it to make it work, even though we didn't get that $10,000 grant. And then obviously we got our Clean Boats, Clean Waters grant. That's kind of a given. As long as you apply for it, those aren't competitive. So
Yeah, great job on the grants.
thank you.
Nice
All
job,
good news
Deanna.
there. I was pumped for that. Our inlet stream restoration project is going well. We have 2 homeowners that have signed and returned our MOU. One of them is set to give it to me next week. He went on vacation, which was totally fine. Take your time. And I've been having lots of meetings with the USDA and the NRCS. I think it's really important that I start involving all of these government entities because really, if they were fully funded, they'd be able to help us do more of this inlet stream restoration project. And when I talked to a couple of engineers, they were really excited that we were doing this and took the initiative to hire a local engineering firm and started this project by ourselves. And they were like, this is what we should be funding, is this kind of stuff. So I'm excited for that partnership. I have one more meeting with another engineer. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and you want to get them all looped in, because why not? And so I'm meeting with 2 more, pardon me, next Wednesday. So that's going well. And like I mentioned, our inlet stream restoration project has started. If you guys walk out there, it's kind of a hike, but if you walk out there, it looks really cool. It looks a little alarming, don't get me wrong, but that's part of the project, is taking down all these box elders and buckthorns and all this, you know, not junk shrubbery, but things that don't hold the soil well, and making sure that there is a native herbaceous and shrub layer that does have deep roots and can prevent some of this soil erosion and nutrient pollution into our inlet stream. So it looks really awesome. If you go out there, let me know. What else? Enbridge, I did reach out to Shane Yoakum, which is one of the project leads over there, asking if we could continue our water quality monitoring efforts with them for 2026. And they said, let's for sure do Q1, and we'll reimburse you for Q1, and then let's discuss moving forward after that. I think they want to get some of those reports back and see what some of these, you know, the summaries and the recommendations from the DNR and Enbridge and their consultant will be. And I'll still push for water quality monitoring throughout this whole year, but it might be a little bit more of a conversation. I reached out to Patricia Cicero. There was a neat pier shading survey that was completed on Lake Ripley and Rock Lake back in 2005 that looked at the effects of pier shading and how tall piers should be, and if the slats should be a specific width to help our fishery, specifically nearshore non-game fishes, where my brain goes, but for all fish really that have nests in the littoral zone. And I contacted everybody that was involved in that survey and a couple new folks, and they're all interested in replicating it. And the thought behind that is a lot more permanent piers have been going in Wisconsin lakes lately. There is at least 1, but perhaps 2 on Lake Ripley so far, and there's about 5 on Rock Lake that from my understanding. And we just want to get a better understanding of what those permanent piers and effects can have on our lake ecosystem. So going to be a neat survey, and hopefully will take place this year, but if not, definitely next year. We have to update the protocols and expand the parameters and things like that.
Liana?
Yeah.
Majestic Pines just put in a permanent pier.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
FYI.
Great, thanks. So that's 2 so far. Meg and Laura did a great job on explaining Assembly Bill 1033 that was introduced into the legislature. I was able to go to that assembly hearing and was able to provide testimony. I would guess 100 to 120 people showed up to speak on this. It took almost 8 hours to get through all this public testimony. There was, at the assembly level, overwhelming support, I would say, in opposition of this bill. I said that kind of funky, but I think y'all understand what I mean. There was overwhelming opposition to AB 1033, specifically from lake groups and lake residents. And there was some support of the bill, obviously. It's a relatively industry-backed bill. There was a lot of industry folks there. A few days later, I was able to have a sit-down meeting with Senator Ratcliffe, and we discussed this bill as well as the Senate Bill 1024 and 1025. 1024 was a bill that had depth, which was 500 feet from, 20 feet water or deeper, a distance 500 feet from shore, provided local immunity for local governments who had already enacted ordinances, and also allowed for local control. The problem with AB 1033, it was silent on allowing any local control, which could possibly lead to gutting of the local ordinances that have already happened. So that's why it was important to go to the assembly as well as contact your senators. I did reach out to Laura and Meg. They were both really great on and Jimmy, he knew about this as well. We were all good about contacting our representatives, our senators. Georgia, I know, reached out to them. So I appreciate everybody for reaching out. I did send the board an email so everybody was aware of what was going on. After my meeting with Senator Ratcliffe, I did go to the Senate Assembly the Senate public hearing on the Committee of Government and Local Control, I believe it's called. And again, it was kind of a repeat, rinse and repeat of the Assembly hearing. A lot of the same folks were there, but that's a good thing. A lot of the same folks were there, and I had more time to have a stronger testimony, I felt like. The first time, like Laura had mentioned, it was introduced on Monday, and by Tuesday morning, they were having a public hearing. So giving myself a week to get something stronger to say was great, and I feel good about going. The Clean Lakes Alliance was there, which is kind of a big deal because they get a lot of donations from all people, and them coming out in public support against this bill was huge. So Wisconsin Lakes was there against it. Obviously, they had some representatives. Lakes at Stake were there lobbying against it. A lot of lake districts, lake associations. So it was good to see everybody show up and show out for protecting Wisconsin lakes. It's really important. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email me. I'll happy to discuss it. Because we got taxed on our recently purchased property, I had to do some digging to find out what we had to do to make sure that doesn't happen again. So in the end, I just had to fill out 3 separate but pretty relatively easy forms and submitted them to our county assessor. The parcels we purchased are now tax exempt. The parcel that was donated in 2025 is still working through that exemption, so not fully done. Jimmy and I did begin brainstorming a fundraising committee. He created one. We've invited some board members and some members of the public to join it. If you know of anybody else that would like to join our fundraising committee, please feel free. We will be contacting you guys now that everybody's given us their available times within the next week to set something up.
Leanna? Yeah. So I had meant to reach out to you this week about that. Could you, what would be the general best times? And are you thinking the daytime or the evening hours?
I think the general consensus was like a Friday afternoon,
Yeah, looked like a Friday.
and that's totally fine. Works for everybody.
Okay, I
Yeah.
can,
If that works for you.
Yes.
I should say it worked for the other 3.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
4. Great.
yes, that works for me.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I had a resident reach out to me about a burn that was happening near his property. And I'm telling you this because the farmer that was burning ended up coming into my office, and we had a really great discussion about our inlet stream restoration project. He's actually farming one of the properties that's adjacent to our inlet stream, so it worked out really well. We actually went to high school together, so that was a good connection. I was like, oh, hey. So I'm happy to have him on board, and he's already doing a lot of great conservation practices on his farmland already, so happy to have him on our side. The Winter Ripples is out, yay! Big thanks to everybody who helped me do that. Big thanks to Doug and his team, couldn't get it done without you. There was a lot of people that sold their property this time around, so there was like 100 parcels I had to update, which is kind of time consuming, but nonetheless, got it done.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Doug.
lastly, our attorneys are still working with the Preserve at Oakland subdivision agreement. The Phase 2 information was sent over, and it's being reviewed, and once there's an agreement, we will provide the documents to the board for final approval. Any questions?
Any other questions for Leanna? All right, thank you, Leanna.
You bet.
Great report. Okay, let's move on to new business. March board meeting dates and discussions of possible actions. So you all received a survey. We're going to talk about that in the old business, but for the moment, we need to approve when we want to have our March board meeting, and then we can have further discussion in old business on future board meetings after that. So I guess we need a motion to approve the March board meeting.
And the third Saturday.
Third
would be
Saturday,
the
well, if you guys
21st.
want to have it the third
21st?
Saturday.
Yeah. Georgia, you have something to say?
Georgia,
Oh,
want to make a
didn't
motion?
you just want somebody to make a motion?
Yeah,
to-
for the,
Oh,
for the March date.
Yeah, for the 21st of March.
Okay, so the motion to have the board meeting on March 21st, which is Saturday at 9 o'clock,
I'll second.
and there's a second for Meg. Okay, any other discussion on the board meeting for March? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Clean Boats, Clean Waters job posting discussion and possible action. Like Leanna mentioned, we reviewed the postings here, and we're going to need approval so we can get moving forward. Most of the changes, or just a few of the changes, had to deal with the driver's license, Wisconsin driver's license thing, and we had legal counsel review these, so I think we're all good. If the board is okay, we'll take a look at this one, so.
Were there any other significant changes to the description?
No, especially not in the watercraft inspector. The only thing that was changed in all 4 was under review process. And the attorney just made it more clear that they'd have to sign the employee handbook and review it before they started work. The ones that had more significant changes were the nature preserve technician and the water quality and field technician. And that was mostly under responsibilities.
Okay.
That's where I wanted to make sure that everything was listed that they do.
So that you could identify skill sets?
Exactly.
Okay.
They knew what they were applying for.
Yeah, and we had the new hire, all employees signed the handbook anyway. We just updated the language in the job posting. So that's just kind of a.
And we should mention that the employee handbook will also be updated this year, probably on our agenda next month or April.
Trying to keep the documents all in line. Right?
Yeah, needs to be updated.
Yeah. So I guess the only thing to note is the hourly rate is $15.50 an hour. Do we still want to maintain that? I think that's grant funded, so we kind of keep that the same, right? 'Cause of the grant
Well,
funding.
actually, the grant only reimburses $15 an hour.
Okay.
In 2023, we increased in 2024, we increased Tony's wage by 50 cents. And last year, we decided to do a 3% raise. So we kind of did it 2 different ways. Right now, he's getting paid $15.97. So that 97 cents is coming out of our budget. I do not think we budgeted for a raise for Tony. But
For the extra 43 cents?
I know we budgeted for $15.97. I don't know if I don't think we budgeted for an additional raise past that. I know we did for water quality technician and field preserve technician because their jobs are a little more analytical and
Okay, so to be clear, we want to approve this at $15.97?
Well, that's what we're paying him last year.
Right,
So that's your call, I guess. I was just letting you know what you paid him last year.
right. So we want to make sure it's included,
I
at least the $15.97.
I would think so.
And the question is, do we want to give them a raise for next year?
I think that is the
Okay.
question, yes. That's what we've done every year in February is discuss their raises and if we're approving them coming back, correct?
Okay. And the grant covers $15 of it, and we cover the rest.
That is correct.
Is the grant specific to the hourly rate? Or
That is correct.
It is, okay. Okay, what does the board think?
Do we need to refer back to the budget? Did we include increases in our annual budget that could cover the extra cost? I'm all for giving people raises
Yeah.
for that, you know.
The budget specifically didn't include these positions, right?
Not the Clean Boats, Clean Waters. I
Not-
believe we discussed
Okay.
that this year we were going to leave it the same in the budget committee.
Okay.
But the other 2 positions, water quality and nature preserve, we did discuss giving raises.
Okay, so this one did not get discussed in budget.
That is my understanding.
Do you
Do
think
you
they-
recall?
I don't recall
either.
specifically.
So let's assume that we didn't discuss this one in budget. If we do give them a raise, it'll have to come out of our general fund.
Okay.
And I guess it would be appropriate to give the employees the same raise. I mean, if they're doing well and they,
Oh, yeah,
we
absolutely.
should probably keep it consistent, I would think. That would be my recommendation. So if you're giving a 3% raise to the other 2, we should probably do the same thing.
Well, we probably won't be to the water quality technician because it'll be somebody new. So I was going to suggest when we got there to change what it says. It just states $21 an hour. I think it should be a range of like 18 to 20 because Dwight was getting paid, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but $23.18. The person that we hire isn't going to be getting paid Dwight's rate,
Correct.
I'm assuming.
Well, correct, right.
Right? So
That's
there's a
different.
little flexibility there.
Yeah, that's
was
different.
my thought process. Okay.
So do we want to, I guess the question then is for the water inspector, do we want to give them a raise? And if we do, is it a quarter? Is it 50 cents an hour? What do we want to do?
probably, yeah,
You said it was $15.97 right now?
Yeah.
that is correct.
Somebody's got Laura's got her calculator out.
Sorry, I didn't bring my phone in here.
Times 3. So that would be 1645,
3%.
is that right?
A 3% raise?
What is that? That seems too high.
Yeah.
Does seem high.
13.97 times 0.03.
Not really.
Oh,
Be
okay, yeah.
47.
What is
All
that?
right, I was,
Yeah?
1645, thank you.
Yeah.
So you said 1645?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
3%?
Yeah. I did that in my head.
You know, I think
I'm not-
because,
I'm not awake enough for that yet.
yeah,
Well, I think it was really
seems
shocking.
high.
I did.
Seems kind of high.
I mean, it might be a little high for 1 year, but I mean, he is a returning employee. If it's a new employee, I would say we look at something different, but
And this will be a returning employee?
Tony's returning, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's a returning employee, so. Yeah, it's kind of a jump. It's 45 cents an hour.
But it's 47, isn't it? Or
Or-
1642.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
few more, yeah. 47.
More.
What do you
Oh,
guys think?
If we're giving everyone else a 3%, you know, it,
Well, we
Cost-
wouldn't technically, sorry. The weed harvesters, by their,
Contract.
yeah,
probably.
they get $1 an hour when they're returning until they reach the cap of 21.
okay.
So the only other person that would get a 3% would be Andrew, if that's what y'all wanted to do.
If we have good people and we want to retain them and cost of living is going up, it seems appropriate to give them a raise.
I agree. I
Mhm.
agree. And we appreciate the work he does.
I think we all appreciate the
Absolutely.
work he does.
Otherwise, we'd have to start over. right?
Absolutely.
So we
Right.
don't want to do that.
Is everybody comfortable with 1645?
Yes.
Yeah, and if you're going to
Yes.
have a range for the water quality technician, not to bring that up again,
Yeah.
but, you know, we might be able to take the money from this for
That's
a
what-
new person and
exactly what I
not
was thinking.
increase the total cost of the budget overall.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
Okay, Georgia, go ahead.
that we raise the amount to total 1645
Okay,
The water
for
sounds
the
good.
watercraft inspector.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Laura, second. Any other discussion on the raise for the watercraft inspector? And approving the posting? Anything else? Okay.
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? All right, motion passes. Thank you, guys. That one's approved. Let's move on to the weed, what's the next one on here? Weed harvester operator position. So that one, like Leanna said, has a range or a
Nope,
in-
this one-
incremental,
Yep.
incremental
As long as they
increase.
work 35 hours per season, they get $1 increase in raise. They all did. They all worked over 60 hours last season. So, like I mentioned earlier, the only person that isn't coming back would be Jim Germain. So last year, Leo was making $17 an hour, so that would raise his pay to $18 an hour. And Richard was making $20 an hour. That would raise his pay to the cap of $21 an hour. And don't forget, this is just operator wages. When they do anything repair work, which isn't like an oil change or routine maintenance, which is a little more mechanical, they get paid that mechanical rate of $21 an hour. So just keep that in mind when you're seeing their payrolls on your financial time.
Yep, so
reports.
we have one at the cap then.
Correct. Richard will be at the cap, Leo will be at 18, and we will need to post this job posting for a third harvester.
And the third harvester, what's the starting range?
16.
16.
And the
So-
reason sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just getting back to Richard, is this the first year he's been at the cap?
That is correct. He
Okay, so
made
we
20
have-
last year.
He made 20 last year?
Yep.
Okay, so we don't probably have to address the cap yet, because he just got there this year, he'll get that raise.
Yep.
I guess the only thing we would want to maybe look at is, do we want to look at the starting wage at $16 an hour? Do we want to keep that at 16, or do we want to try to raise that? That's been 16 quite a while.
I'm not sure if
And budget
we
too.
budgeted
Yeah,
for
I don't-
well,
we
I guess
probably-
we did because Jim would have been making.
We did, 'cause we
yeah,
would
he
have
would have
budgeted for
been.
Jim's
You're
number.
absolutely right.
So we do have flexibility to raise the starting wage
Oh,
if we want.
And I do want to bring that up, actually. We raised the starting wage in 2023
From what?
from 15 to 16 because Richard's pay increased from $16 to $18. So I looked into that yesterday of why we decided to do $2 increase, and that's because in 2023 we increased the starting wage from 15 to 16.
Okay.
So just a little history for
Yep,
you.
perfect.
And where was Jim at?
Jim was at $18 an hour in 2025.
Is there any discussion on the starting wage?
And I just want to mention what was added in this one too was physical requirements and working environment. I didn't have that in the last job description, and I thought it was important for these harvesters to know that they could be lifting up to 50 pounds and doing a lot of repeat motions. So
Let me ask you, how
Yeah.
hard is it to find operators?
I actually had one gentleman call me last week saying, hey, I saw on your agenda that you need a weed harvester. I'd really be interested.
Okay.
So, and he pulls all of our harvesting equipment anyways, so I don't think it'll be that hard. I've
Okay.
always had a couple of applicants. This will
Okay.
probably be my third time posting this
Okay.
and getting applicants, so not as hard as I originally expected.
Okay, that
Yeah, that's
answers
good.
as far as like starting wage, if it would be hard to
Right.
Sure.
have applicants, then maybe
Yeah,
we
good
entice
question.
them. But if you feel as though that is a fair wage, and if it's sliding as they progress and stay
Right.
on, that's incentive,
Yep.
hopefully.
And if they're doing repairs and they're getting
More.
a higher rate for that kind of thing,
Yes.
They do?
Exactly.
Yep,
it's not like there's nothing.
correct. Yep. We okay with the way it is, or do you guys want to make a motion to change it?
I think I'm okay with
I'm okay
where
with the way it
Yeah,
is.
I'm okay
Okay.
with
Because
the
we don't
starting.
know who is coming on.
Right.
You don't want to necessarily,
Okay.
you know, start somebody that's not really, you're not all that happy with them.
Yep.
I would say leave it,
Exactly.
and maybe after this season, maybe we can address it at the end of the year for next
Okay.
year's budget.
We'll
And just
review it next
reassess it
Sure.
and see what the program looks like and
Okay.
who's returning.
Great.
All right, so then we need a motion to accept the weed harvester operator position posting then as presented.
As
I-
well as raises to the two returning harvesters, please. I know we
Correct.
do that separately, but just
Yep.
want to remind you all.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
motion's made, is there a second?
Who made it? Laura?
Laura
Yes,
made
thank
it,
you.
and there's a second over here with Meg.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? All right, thank you, everyone. All right, we'll move on to the nature.
We want to make a motion to confirm the weed harvester's wages. This is when we do this. Annually in February meetings, when we tell them that they're coming back, we also say what we're going to pay them, like we just did for Tony.
Okay.
So I need y'all to make a motion for giving the weed harvesters an additional $1. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we provide the returning harvesters the $1 increase in salary.
And I'll second.
Do we even need to do that if it's listed in the listing
Well, and that's
already?
what's a little confusing. I think what
We've
Leanna-
done it every year
Okay.
since, in the 5-6 years I've been here, so I was just following protocol.
Yeah, let's hold on. We
I don't
have
think it's a
motions on the
problem.
floor, we're gonna have discussion, and we're gonna talk this out, all right? So, in the posting, it says what they'll get by returning. I think what Leanna's referring to is, well, in our past treasurer, would always wanna know exactly what they were making because she did the reporting of it. And I think that's what you're trying to say, I believe. So we've always said it in the meetings that each harvester is gonna receive the extra $1, and we listed that $1, and we talked about it in the meeting so the treasurer could do the payroll
Adjust,
correctly.
Sure.
I think that.
And that makes sense, because I would have to communicate that to our
Correct.
accountant.
I
to-
think
to
that's
make-
what we're trying to
make
do.
sure that the
But
numbers
Doug, you
right.
are correct. It is in here and it does talk about it.
But it could vary from person to person.
It does vary from person to
So-
person. So let's just go through and list each name. Who's the first one, Leo? You said?
Sure, you can do Leo first.
Leo is how much?
18.
18? And
Richard
Rich
is
is
21.
21.
Richard's
Become
21.
21.
Is that the only two?
Yes.
Okay, so we have two,
Yes.
so that will be the motion. All right, who's made the motion?
Go ahead,
Motion
Meg.
was made by Meg, seconded by
Okay,
Georgia.
so do we want
I'll accept the friendly amendment.
okay, so we have the amendment in there. I think we're all good now.
We're all good.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to nature preserve technician. And the only thing I saw is,
Was
do
it
we
field
want,
Actually-
technician?
Yeah, the wrong one.
Field technician.
Field technician, sorry. Do we want to change the acreage in these?
The what?
Yeah,
The acreage
definitely
is
can.
listed at 207.
but
should
we
probably,
need to do this one
we should
first.
probably update that.
You're looking at this one.
Okay.
That's weed
Yeah, I wrote it on
harvester.
the wrong one. Yep, okay, here we go.
That's weed harvester. You want water quality and field
Oh, sorry.
technician. You can
Okay.
have mine.
Okay, I got it.
'Kay.
All right, here we go. All right, salary range shows that, yeah, you're at the 18 to 21.
Yeah, that was my suggestion, was amend that to have it be 18 to 21 since Dwight officially is not returning. We don't want to offer somebody $21 an hour if their experience level isn't at that range cap.
Okay.
In my opinion, but that's up to y'all.
Yeah, and at that kind of part-time level, what you may end up getting is somebody who is just coming out of school and wants their first experience
Right.
doing some of this.
Right. Okay. And then the only other changes, well, what else did we change there?
I fleshed out the responsibilities.
Okay.
That was the main change, and our attorney recommended the change in all of them was how they signed the handbook. That was the same.
The handbook thing, and then we'll update the acreage that's listed, wherever it's listed at 207, we'll update those.
Absolutely.
And I think that should be it, right?
What are you talking about, Jimmy?
In one
Oh,
of
I
the-
see.
The
Yeah.
handbook,
We now have,
they have to
In the
review and hand it.
responsibilities.
yep.
Review process.
No, this one.
And that
Yeah.
shows in a couple of the documents, so I just
Okay.
want to make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
we get
The
that fixed.
207.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on the water quality field technician? You might want to make a motion with those two corrections, I guess. Right?
What's the 207 to go
Um,
to, do you know?
The total amount of acreage?
244 is what it is
244?
officially now.
Nice.
244. So we have the one change at 244, and then we have the 18, the range of 18 to 21 for the two amendments, or the two changes.
I'll move to accept the field technician job posting with corrections.
Okay? Meg's made the motion to approve this with the two corrections. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Georgia? Okay. Any other discussion? No. All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? All right. All righty, we got through those, I think.
One more.
One more. Okay, now we're on to the nature preserve technician.
You bet.
And I think
Andrew's returning, so good news there.
Okay.
What was updated was physical requirements and responsibilities for this one, and the review process, as was in all four of them. And, yeah,
44. So we'll change the acreage again in this one.
yep.
Yeah.
244. That was it.
14 to 21.
All right. Any other comments or discussion?
We have a returning employee.
We do.
Okay.
And then do we need to, is he within this range, the 14 to 21? Do we need?
He is
Was-
not.
Was he approved for a 3% raise?
He was. Last year, he made 22.15.
Okay, so he was at 2215, and he's returning.
That is correct.
Okay.
So do we need to change those, the hourly rate?
Probably. I think
Yeah.
that's a
Top
good
sliding
idea.
scale.
Yeah.
We should.
2281.
Is,
2281?
was that raise that was budgeted though for the 3%?
That is correct.
Okay.
This 3% raise was budgeted.
And is that what his income is based on that now, or does he need to still receive that raise?
He still needs to receive that
Okay.
raise. That is correct.
What
He's
is-
not worked since December.
Okay, so what would the total be with that
I
3%
think-
miscalculation?
What was he making right now?
He was making
2215.
22.15. In 2023, he
One
made
five?
21,
2281.
21.
2281.
So we did that 50-cent raise and then went to that 3% raise.
Okay, 2281.
is the total.
66 cents.
So 2281. So then we would want to put something like range 14 to 23 or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best way to do this, is have that range in there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
bump the range versus putting the dollar amount exact, yeah, it's probably
Correct.
easier. Okay,
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the posting with the change to this hourly rate, and also from 207 to 244 acres in the responsibility section.
okay. Laura's made the motion to make those changes, is there a second?
Second it.
One second.
Kim?
Kim?
Yes.
Okay, Kim seconded. Any other discussion on the changes and/or the job posting?
Just a question, do
Yep.
we need to add to that Andrew's raise, or do we do that separately?
You said was already done, so do we need to do that
It's
now?
not
It is
done.
not done.
Oh,
Y'all
it's
just-
not done.
Yeah, I think.
It
y'all
was
should
in the
motion.
budget, but he has to, we have to approve it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do we do that together or two separate motions? Okay, so I
do it
will
together.
amend my motion to include approving Andrew's 3% raise to
22.
2281.
Perfect. All right,
A second.
all right. Get a second on that one also. Okay, so then I think we got it all. Any other discussion?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right. Thank you, everyone.
We'll
for your
get
pa-
that figured
For your
out.
patience on that.
All right.
Parliamentary procedure.
We got there. We got through it. Okay. Clean boats, clean waters, we got that one done. Okay, so I guess we're to old business now. Okay, so we're to old business, savings account discussion and possible action. Steve, why don't you walk us through the scenarios that you found?
Okay, so I was asked to take a look and see what we could do with some of the monies that we had available, rather than let it sit in a checking account, to try to put it in some kind of interest-bearing account, so we were making money on that. I did do that as requested by the board, which is the top section of this document. These are actual numbers, these aren't assumptions. The whole bottom of the page is assumptions. So as of yesterday, these are the numbers that are available from Badger Bank and from First Bank. Our checking is currently at First Bank, and our loans are currently at Badger Bank. So we're kind of split between the two banks in town. So $50,000 and is the number that we talked about, Jim, because we talked about we have like $88,000 that's generally available, and we wanted to leave a surplus of some in the checking account that was available for us if something came up.
Correct.
And we thought $30,000 was a roughly right number. And we started this a couple of months ago, so the numbers are changing just minorly, nothing drastic. So I used $50,000 as a baseline to invest, and these are the numbers that would come back for the different type of investments that we have. There are other things that are available with checking accounts, but they come with a lot of restrictions on being able to write checks out of it. So these are the ones that I just I pulled. These were the highest yielding accounts I could get from both banks, and these are the samples I wanted to put in front of the board to take a look at. So before we get into too much of that, then what I did is, as you guys all know, we have two loans for the properties that we've purchased. We have the one from past, I'm not sure when that was generated, which we have about 3 more years of payment on, and we have the new ones. We have the new property that we purchased cash, then we have the new loan that we have, and that is a balloon loan in 5 years. So I took a look at what the dollar amount would be remaining that we would have to refinance at the end of that balloon, and it is $320,000, give or take, okay? And so what I did then is, I'm assuming we were probably trying to enter into a 10-year fixed loan once we refinance this. And I just gave a range, because unless you guys have a crystal ball, tell me what the rates are going to be in 5 years, then we can lock it in. But this is just a range, and I went from a low range to a high range, so you can see it'll be somewhere in between there. If we leave it, if we were to do the top section here and invest the money, and not do what I'm going to suggest to the board, which is take that $50,000 and completely pay off the first loan.
How much is the first loan?
It's what's remaining is just under 50. That's what's remaining. And we have budgeted monies for the next 3 years already approved for that loan. So what I would suggest is we take the $50,000, pay off the first loan, continue to work on the second loan as we have, take those monies that we currently have designated to send to the first loan, leave them in the checking account. At the end of the year, take those monies and pay down more on the current loan, the only loan that we'll have open. And if we do that, year over year, we will have paid off roughly $40,000, which brings us down to $280,000 that we would have to refinance. And you can see the difference in the monthly costs for those, and you can see also what we would save over the 10-year term if we did that. So,
So you're suggesting that we pay the first loan off, take the payment that we would have used for that first loan that we know that wouldn't be applicable, just let it sit, and then at the end of the year, put it on the one remaining loan as one big lump sum?
yes, one big lump
Yeah.
sum. And the reason,
Wouldn't it make more sense just to take it, the $12.95 monthly, pay down it? You know, I'm thinking about from an interest standpoint. The more you pay, the more you pay on it, the less interest you're going to pay, rather than just one big lump sum.
we could.
This is my
we-
Dave Ramsey mind
Yeah,
thinking here.
That's certainly the other way to go. The only reason I suggested leaving it in there is that if something came up, we had monies to use.
And I was just going
for-
to ask that,
for
how
s-
much money,
yeah, so we
how
could-
many months of operations do we then have available if you take that amount of money and put it into the loan?
Well, our budgeted money, I mean, 12 months plus a $30,000 surplus. Because we already submitted our budget. We got the budget approved. That's our 12 months spend. And we have roughly 80 extra. So we would have, if we did that, we would have left 30,000 in the account as a buffer for something that would came up. If that's what we would have if we paid it on a monthly basis. If we didn't, we would have that $12.95 or whatever it is times 12 as an additional buffer if something were to come up. And the reason I said that is because that is better from an interest standpoint. There's no doubt about it. But it does take away our ability for additional buffer if something were to come up.
'Cause I mean, I'm just thinking about how we got hit when we had dump truck die, you know, and all of a sudden you've got to start looking for vehicles, and I don't know how often having somebody like gift you a Silverado is going to happen. So, you know, it's keeping those kinds of things in mind, that there could be like a really big expense that comes up. Because that was like, what was that, like 25,000, 30,000 for the dump truck, yeah.
I have a question. Have we considered looking at a high-yield savings account? They're about the same as a CD right now. Gives you flexibility to have that money at your disposal versus tying it up for a year where you can't touch it or take it out with penalty.
Yeah, those accounts do have restrictions on what you can take out. Those are the accounts I was talking about.
Right.
And they're roughly around the same percentages as CD rate. So you're not going to get much more out of a high yield than $1,800 a year.
But we would be able to access that money without a penalty versus a CD.
You can. I was taking a look at a long-term range of how we could save the most money.
Yeah.
And that's why I said.
Because then it wouldn't
I'm
tie
looking-
up that money. You know what I mean? You high yield savings, you can access it without penalty.
And then what is our interest rate on the $50,000 loan that you're suggesting we pay off?
Low.
So would it be better to continue, like what would it be? Would it be more advantageous to keep that loan and continue to put that payment into some kind of savings or CD and keep that loan, since it's such a low rate? Why not take that $50,000 and put it in our loan that's a higher rate?
Well, because right now we have a balloon fixed, and I haven't looked at all the specific details. I think all that would do is go against the principal and would not change the payment. It would essentially do the same thing that I'm suggesting here. It would just reduce the principal when it's time to re-up the loan.
But would we have less interest rate overall? Maybe it wouldn't change it
No, it wouldn't
An
change. It would-
annual,
it
but
would-
would it
it's- It's not going to change your monthly payment.
No, it wouldn't change the monthly
It'll
payment,
change
but,
the amount of interest that has occurred.
yeah, and so you would pay that loan off quicker. So maybe you wouldn't see a difference now, but maybe in the life of the loan, you would see a difference. Is that right, Doug?
That's what the bottom scenario here shows.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
exactly
This
what
one.
the bottom scenario shows.
oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry.
It's just semantics of which,
Okay.
do you
Yeah,
want
alright.
two loans, do you want one
That's how you
loan?
want to think about it, one, in advance or behind, so.
Right.
Okay,
And
So-
again, Doug's 100% right. I mean, we could do the $12.95 a month and do that. Again, I was doing it just because we've always had a fair amount of surplus in there, and we're reducing it to 30, and I would hate to say, guess what, guys, we're
Right.
short on something.
So the risk versus reward, right? So the
Right.
risk would be if there is a problem and it goes over 30,
Mhm.
and we're using the money to save interest, then we have to go take a loan out to get the rest of the money.
Another loan.
Right. That, I
It
mean,
probably makes sense to be
and-
a little bit more conservative.
I'm
We're
very-
still,
I'm very conservative when it comes to this kind of stuff, so, yeah.
says the guy that just bought a Corvette.
Yeah, well. Wow, okay.
well, this is other people's money,
Yeah,
so,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, and then to
Mhm.
be conservative, how your logic does make sense with trying to keep money in the event that we had some unforeseen problem.
well, then it gives us more control at the end of the year, because then we can evaluate to say, okay, we're sitting good, financially good, there's nothing breaking down that we know of, we can take that money now and put it into that payment.
Yeah,
Versus the monthly ones where you're like, okay, that money's already tied up then.
And then the money that's gained at the end of the year with that CD, whatever it is, 1,500, 1,800, we would just reapply to a loan or something? I mean, I assume
Sure.
it would have to go into next year's budget committee for
Yeah,
right.
allocation.
Just pay down the debt.
Yeah, well, I would use it, yeah, we just to pay down the debt, exactly.
Okay.
Seems like a good idea to me.
I think hanging on to the 50,000 is kind of important at this point. Just looking at the age of the vehicles again and the kinds of unexpected expenses that we've had come up, including legal fees, et cetera. Just having that flexibility so that we're not put in a position of having to go and get another loan. and
So when you say
potentially
50, you
being
mean the
turned back.
30 that'll be left plus the money is over the
I think
time?
that like 50,000 put into a high yield account of some sort at least is earning money. I don't think 30,000 is enough at this point, just based on the cost of things and the kinds of costs that we've had come up. I mean, that's my,
Okay, so you're.
I come at it from, I'm fiscally really conservative.
Yeah, so just to be clear though, you're saying something different. You're saying don't use the 30 number.
No, she's saying don't pay off the first loan. Put it in an interest
Don't pay off the
account.
first loan. Put some of this, as we were talking about, put some of this money that instead of paying off that first loan, which is a really low interest rate, et cetera, don't base it on 30,000, just based on the fact that we've spent more than that on emergencies in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look, and that would essentially give us probably close to a wash with what we're paying on the money versus what we would, on the loan, from an interest standpoint, versus what we would get in some kind of a savings account. It might be 1% difference over the period of a year, but it would be generally a wash. I mean, if the board wants to come into one specific, again, there's assumptions here, and there's the top part is reality. And once there's a lot of different ways to look at this. Once the board decides which way you want to look at it, I can dive into it a little deeper and come up with exactly what it would look like. But I would need some direction as to what you guys want to do.
I think we should take a look at investing it. I don't think we should lock it up in a CD. I think a high yield savings account, even if we get a little bit lower interest rate, we are using the money to good use, but we're still having the ability to access it.
There are 6-month
the
CDs out there.
There are 6 and 7.
Yeah, 6 and
Well,
7.
there's, I mean, depending on the bank, you can get a 6-month, 7, 4-month,
Yeah.
18-month.
So I
just
know
depends.
Ameriprise in town, they have a high yield 3-point+ percentage savings.
It's usually between 3 and 4%.
Yeah, so I don't, this high yield from Badger Bank doesn't really, I don't know, seems low, but I don't know the percentage of, well, that's a checking account, not a high-yield savings account.
Here's the
So I would maybe explore that.
Yeah, I just went online, looked at all the vehicles that were available
Yeah,
to put your money in, and I just targeted the high yield
yeah.
ones. And
Between
are-
these two banks.
Yes.
Yeah, I would maybe check locally at Ameriprise and see if they have an offer that we could. He's here in town locally, and they offer high-yield savings accounts.
Ameriprise?
Ameriprise, Jeff. Help me out here, why can't I think of his last name?
Okay, well, what do you
Is
guys
that-
want to do?
I mean, it's a thought, but let me just.
Well, if we did it in a savings account, that was a high yield, looking at another avenue that Kim's suggesting, then would there be restrictions with taking that out? Maybe not, and that would kind of
Yeah,
help.
you can look at them. There are different restrictions across, some say 7, some say 8 withdrawals in a year. So they're,
So we probably would not do 7 or 8 withdrawals in a year. It would only be in the event that there was
An emergency.
an emergency, so you're only talking probably one time, 2 times.
Yeah.
So we would meet that restriction, but then we would also have more peace of mind that you're talking about in the event that we did have an expense that we didn't foresee.
I think one of the questions that we need to answer is, do we want to pay off that first loan? I think that's kind of the starting point for you, right? So if we decide we do want to pay it off, then we can work a direction. We decide we're not going to pay it off, it kind of puts us the other way. So
right.
let's try to
Okay.
decide, I guess, that, and then we can move forward or take another month to think about it, or whatever.
I mean, we're in no hurry to make a move either way. So it's not, the longer we wait, the less long-term money you would save, because we're still paying the loan as opposed to having it paid off. But, given there's so many different possibilities out there, just kind of give me a little bit of direction rather than say, go try to find a different one again.
Yeah.
At,
So-
at another bank, because we're already in 2 banks. This will be the 3rd bank now where we would be
Right.
in.
So Jeff Stein is the local Ameriprise rep, and they're showing not quite 3.7. I would just call for the heck of it, but between 50 and 100, it's 3.05 annual percentage rate. So it's in the middle, sits in the middle. It's not the 3.7, but
How much is the first loan? What's the interest rate on the first loan?
It's low. It's in the 2s, I think.
High 2s, I think.
And how much
I think
is
it's
left
like
on that loan?
2.7.
40-something, you said?
Roughly, it's under 50.
Okay. It just seems to me like, and the current loan is at like 6? Is that, am I understanding that from what I see on here?
No, this has nothing to do, there's
Oh.
no current loan on here. These are just
Okay.
samples of what could be.
I gotcha. Because, so, it just seems like that's such a low interest rate that it might, as was mentioned before, it might not be a bad idea to pay, if you're going to decide to pay something off, that you go with the one that's going to cost more.
Yeah, that's,
Right, well, that's exactly, that's the long-term goal here, by being able to cut the principal down on that when that had to be refinanced, and you see the savings that it would,
Right.
that it could yield here.
So if you,
Once again, I'm just going to say this again, we pay the 2.7 on the interest of the loan during the course of the year, and we get 3.7 on a CD, you're making 1%.
percent, which,
Right.
yeah.
You're not, you're making one, so this money that shows you're made, you're spending it
Correct.
on a loan.
yeah,
Though it is maybe covering payment, but yeah.
you're using the
that
money, the monthly payment that you would be paying to the old loan to pay off the higher percentage rate new loan.
I
It
kind of
sounds
like the
that.
idea of paying the debt off. I like paying the debt off.
Yeah, that's more of a
versus when-
longer-term fix.
Same.
Right.
And the smaller the debt should go first, right?
That
Start
typically-
with your smaller debt first and get them off the books. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to,
It's just,
Get rid of
the
it.
only thing that makes me balk is just that fear of having only $30,000 as a cushion when we spent in 1 year an unexpected something like $30,000. when it came to
kind
the
of the
dump
risk
truck
we
and the
take,
legal
right?
fees.
You would have the 30 plus the accumulated 1295 that would be available,
Correct.
which is getting less and less because we're going into March now.
Right.
So,
Right.
So it's 1295
I think that's the number.
per payment, and 12 payments. So that's 15,540.
Well, we're in March already, so you're going to have to minus a few months there.
Yeah.
So that would be this year's
Yeah,
savings.
March,
So it
So
would
like
probably
10.
be 12,000.
12,000.
yeah, 12 plus the 30, so you'd have 42,000.
So we'd have 42,000 at the end of the year if there's no more emergencies throughout the rest of the year versus not, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs here because, none of us hold the key to the future, so.
Right. And we're doing the best we can with the information that we have in front of us. And that's all we can do is responsible taxpayers for all of us,
Right.
right? Am I hearing we all are kind of thinking it's the best thing to pay off the first loan? And is that kind of what everybody's thinking?
No, Meg's suggesting that we don't.
Meg?
I'm
No?
just one person.
No, I'm just saying, well, you're saying everybody, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of in favor of keeping that first loan too. The interest rate's so low. To me, you keep that and pay off the other loan that has a higher interest. It just makes more sense to me to do it that way. Or I'm not looking at,
How are you going to pay off the higher loan?
well, we wouldn't pay off the higher loan. We would just, instead of spending the $50,000 to pay off the entire low-interest loan, take that same amount of money and pay it off, pay that into the principal of the higher.
But then by doing
Interest
that,
rate.
we're at 30,000 and we're back to,
And you're still
we
have all-
don't have
you-
the additional 1295.
You still have all your
You're still going to be
payments.
paying the
Still have all your
1295.
payments.
Yeah.
Not really
So,
solving anything.
you
That
know,
would be
then
the
we're,
most riskiest way to go.
that would be the riskiest.
Okay. It would be the,
I mean, we're talking not thousands of dollars here of making money, it's 1%. You're probably talking $900 of
Correct.
money.
okay.
I am in favor, pay the 50,000 off and assume the 1295 is, it's not really income, but it's not outgoing either. It
Right.
adds
Correct.
to
It'll just
our
be added to the-
30,000 emergency
Yeah.
fund.
Okay.
It would
Thank
show
you. I
up
was
as
going to
cash
say
in the account.
emergency fund.
That's,
I mean, that's the way you gotta look at it, as like a 6-month or 12-month emergency
Right.
fund.
and
So-
then we're looking at, we've got one loan, we can concentrate on that. If interest rates, keep in mind, there's a new Fed chair now that's very friendly to a president that is, thinks that interest rates should be at 0%.
Correct.
So it's likely interest rates are going to drop, which means savings rates and CDs interest rates are going to drop because they're all tied to the prime.
Correct.
So
Yeah, I'm in favor of paying off the debt also.
Okay, you're in favor of paying off the first loan?
Yes.
Laura, where are you at?
Well, when you look at it that way, I think long-term, it is better to pay the same amount of money into a higher interest. But when you look at it from a standpoint of having more reserves available, if that's the goal, then doing it the way that Steve says would meet that goal more. So I'll be in favor of that then.
Of paying off the first loan?
Yeah.
Doug, you're in favor of paying off the first loan?
Yep.
I would be also. Georgia, what are you in favor of?
Well, I kind of like the idea of paying off that first loan, but I also am fiscally very conservative. So I like the thought of having extra money. But I think if I just heard you right, Steve, we do have that money in the form of the amount per month.
Yeah.
assuming at the end of the year there was no was no emergency that needed to be used,
Correct.
because the next year the whole budget cycle starts again.
Right.
So.
Right. And that money, again, is already approved for the next 3 years, so we wouldn't have to have that. So that's why I assume taking that money and putting against the second loan when it's time to refinance it.
So we'd be paying the first loan 3 years early, paying it off 3 years early?
Yes,
That'd be great.
Okay.
give or take,
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, of course.
And-
I wasn't here for a couple of months. You guys asked me to do this, I think, in December, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think that's a
I
great
looked at the
idea.
numbers then.
Okay.
Okay, Meg, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I can go along with the group on paying off that loan. If it's not a full 50, it's like 47 or something like
It's like,
that.
it's something like that.
That's like 33,000, and if you put that $12,000 to $15,000 into that,
Well, it'll be
whatever
the-
that account is.
It's just in the general fund checking account.
Right, but I mean, if you think in terms of moving that at the end of the year and maintaining so that it's more than 30,000, I keep thinking about how we just got double whammy and everything with all, some of those expenses.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that without the board's approval at the end of the year. So if some unusual expense had come up during the course of the year that dipped into that money, we don't have to do that.
But, so the question I have with the roughly $30,000, are we looking at putting that into a high yield account, or does that just stay in a general fund? Because if that's our rainy day fund, it should be earning more than it is.
I wasn't looking at putting that in there.
That
Because-
has to be available for us at any moment in time,
Okay,
that block of money.
okay.
That's like, like your savings account block of money where if it's not budgeted, like we didn't budget for something and the truck needs 4 new tires, that money's got to come out of that.
Yeah,
So that can't be,
right,
held up anyway.
right. Okay.
I'd put that in a high yield
All right.
savings account.
So, anybody want to make a motion? I think the motion would be to pay off the first loan. That would be
That would be the first.
the
yeah.
first motion.
And that's really all we'd have to do right now,
Right.
Correct.
because the rest of it's just going to accumulate. We figure out what to do with it at the end of the year.
I'll make a motion to pay off $50,000 or approximately whatever the first loan is, and accumulate the $12.95 in our general funds to be used at a later date, once approved by the board.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, Kim seconded. Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any nays? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, great discussion, you
Steve.
guys.
Good job.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you,
Trying
Steve.
to be the
Yeah,
best
thanks
for
for
the
doing that.
taxpayers of Oakland.
Yeah,
Of
and
the-
with all the different variables out there,
Yep.
Well, they'll change tomorrow.
it will change tomorrow, so let's get
Well-
it done right now.
Correct.
Well, thank you for walking us through it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not all accountants here, so we
We
appreciate
did
that.
kind of come full circle, didn't we?
Great
that's
discussion.
good.
That's how you
That's-
make your best
Some
decision.
of us
Yes,
are more frugal than
exactly.
others. I don't have a Corvette or any plans.
Oh,
So I
See
mean-
what you did there? You see what you did?
And if I had the extra money, Corvette
So-
wouldn't be on the list.
Well,
Okay, let's get
So
into
the,
the.
so the Corvette is, the Corvette is paid for, none of this money's going toward payment.
I
All right,
just
let's
look at it
talk
as
about
paying
board
off a debt
meetings.
and then putting it towards our emergency
All right,
fund.
board meetings, discussion, and possible action. We've sent the survey out, this discussion we've had for like 3 months now, just to see if there were options, if there were any board meetings that wanted to be held at a different time or a different day. So as you guys have a copy of the results?
They do not.
They do not?
No,
Oh,
those
okay, I
are
just have
private
them.
results. The general consensus, though, was Saturday at 9 or Thursday at 5:30. Those were the 2 highest ranking meeting times and days, with Saturday being the most popular.
Mhm. Yep.
Saturday at 9. So those are probably the 2 options that we should chat about.
So we have the March date set now, and we have the annual meeting, which is the 3rd week in August, set. That's always. The question became over the past few years is, last year, last few months, whatever, is it an option that the board could have a meeting during the week and not have it on the 3rd Saturday? And that's why the discussion came up. I certainly wouldn't want to make that decision with any board members not here, so we do have everybody here. Like Leanna said, the survey shows that if we're going to do it, it looks like Thursday would be probably the next best option. So is that a possibility, or I guess not?
Do you have would it be the 3rd Thursday of the month?
Whatever we do, I just want it to be consistent
Consistent.
in the change.
No,
So-
I understand.
Yeah, so if we're going to do it the 3rd Thursday, then we should do it on the 3rd Thursdays.
Oh, yes, I'm asking that
I
question.
think so.
I'm asking that question selfishly because we have our town board meeting on the third Tuesday of the month, and to have the 2 meetings on the same week, I think would be good for my scheduling, and then, we could always, that would just give me more flexibility throughout the other month for, other items.
I'll just throw out there, any day but Saturday really puts a burden on me because I'm not a full-time resident here, and I do work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It would be difficult for me.
Yeah, that would be
And I don't
problematic.
want to, I mean, if that's what you guys want to do, you would just need to look at down the road, short-term replacing me for what I'm doing, because it would be very difficult for me.
Yeah.
In the summer, it might be easier, but I'm not here every week in the summer either, but especially for all the cooler months where I'm not here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's a good point, and certainly we want to take that into consideration. I think, I don't think the purpose of this is to set every Thursday. I think if something came up, could we do it monthly, where we just decide monthly is the next third Saturday okay, and we just approve it every month, like we do in the town board meetings, kind of? Or is there a Saturday or a Thursday during the summer where it would work for you, where we could switch it? And you don't know that now, or is that discussion we just don't want to have?
Well, Thursdays are generally bad for me, but
I don't
once
know.
again, I'm one person.
Okay.
I don't really
if-
want to jump the meetings around because of the fact that we have, our constituents that will need to come, and if they get confused as to what day, and they're not sure, and if you say, oh, I missed that meeting, but I want to come on Saturday, oh, I missed it, it was on Thursday, then it becomes problematic, even if we post it. It just looks
I
like
agree with
we're
that.
kind of not being transparent, and we'll get accused of that. I mean, it'll just open up a whole
Right.
can of worms. Also, Georgia, in the winter, looking at, not wanting to drive after dark,
Yeah.
trying to be considerate there. I'm open to either one. I have some flexibility, but I just think probably. I mean, I know Saturdays in the summer is not ideal because everybody wants to get out and get going and have plans, but,
It's one Saturday,
exactly. So-
and we know it, and you can plan around it. I mean, I prefer the Saturday just because, with the county board, I end up having a bunch of meetings the third week and the fourth week, and that third Saturday sometimes comes into that middle thing, and the second week. So just like all those committee meetings, and a lot of them are during the day, and that really cuts up my ability to get the kind of things done that I need to do. So adding another weekday type of thing is just really awkward for me. But the other thing is when it comes to reporting to the county, which we do have to do with our noticing, that gets confusing for them too if they don't know a long time in advance when they're going to be scheduling
Good
stuff.
point.
That's a good point.
Okay, so I'm hearing from the board, we want to keep it on Saturdays.
Yes.
I need a
think so.
motion
I
then
don't want to
to-
replace Steve.
Yeah?
No,
Yeah.
we'd have
That was a
replacing.
lot of work. Let's
I
keep
hate
it for a
to
while.
put it that way.
Sorry.
but-
No,
but,
no,
you
no,
know,
that's
it's,
important.
you know,
It's
time
important.
You to stay. No, I
Stick them in.
think just all around.
Okay. I need a motion then to have the rest of the Saturdays put on the
Make a
schedule.
motion. Oh, sorry.
I'll make
sorry.
that motion.
Okay, Georgia's making a motion for the rest of the Saturdays to be on the schedule?
Yes.
Third Saturday?
Yep,
Okay.
I second.
Yes.
On
Okay,
9
10
o'clock.
seconds.
Okay,
10
is there a second?
seconds. Yep, Kim
Second.
just did.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, done with that. Announcements, are there any announcements? See, Todd, what's your announcement?
There will be nothing happening on lake boats in the legislative session. It's over, per the state senator, done for the session, so congratulations.
Yay.
Wow.
All
Great,
right.
thank you.
That's
Nice.
good.
Well,
Thanks
that's a
for
good
the
update.
update.
Well, we
You mean I
want
can't
something
hunt the
done on
sandhill
wake
crate
boats,
now?
but just not bad stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
right, not
What's that?
10:25.
Oh,
Yay.
Right.
Thanks, Todd.
Good.
thanks for the update. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, great discussion
you.
today.